Hi guys, it's Salma here, and here I would like to practice shadowing IELTS video, and today that is 11th day that I have made the video. I hope you can listen carefully and attention to me.
Now turn to section 2.
Now turn to section 2.
Section 2.
Section 2.
You will hear a woman called Alice Bustle talking on the radio about the Dolphin Conservation Trust, an organization which tries to protect dolphins.
You will hear a woman called Alisa Bustle talking on the radio about the Dolphin Conservation Trust, an organization which tries to protect dolphins.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15.
First, you have some time to look at question 11 to 15.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Now listen carefully and answer question 11 to 15.
Today we're pleased to have on the show Alice Bustle from the Dolphin Conservation Trust.
Today we're pleased to have on the show Alice Bustle from the Dolphin Conservation Trust.
Tell us about trust, Alice.
Tell us about the trust, Alice.
Well, obviously its purpose is to protect dolphins in seas all around the world.
Well, obviously, its purpose is to protect dolphins in seas all around the world.
It tries to raise people's awareness of the problems these marine creatures are suffering because of pollution and other threats.
It tries to raise people's awareness to the problems their marine creatures are suffering because of the pollution and other threats.
Started 10 years ago, and it's one of the fastest growing animal charities in the country.
It started 10 years ago and is one of the faster growing animals charities in the country.
Although it's still fairly small compared with the big players in animal protection.
Although it's all still very small compared with the big players in animal protection.
We're particularly proud of the work we do in education.
We are particularly proud of the work we do with education.
Last year, we visited a huge number of schools in different parts of the country.
Last year, we visited a huge number of schools in different parts of the country.
Going round to talk to children and young people aged from 5 to 18.
Going around to talk to children and young people aged from 5 to 18.
In fact, about 35% of our members are children.
In fact, about 35% of our members are children.
The charity uses its money to support campaigns, for example, for changes in fishing policy and so forth. It hopes soon to be able to employ its first full-time biologist with dolphin expertise to monitor populations.
The charity used the money to support cooperation, for example, for changes in fishing policy, and support its home soon to be able to employ its first full-time biologist with dolphin experiences to influence population.
Of course, many people give their services on a voluntary basis.
Of course, many people give their first service on a voluntary basis.
And we now have volunteers working in observation, office work, and other things.
And we now have volunteers working in observation, office work, and other things.
I should also tell you about the award we won from the Charity Commission last year for our work in education.
I should also tell you about the award we won from the quality conversation last year from our work in education.
Although it's not meant an enormous amount of money for us, it has made our activities even more widely publicised and understood.
Although it's not means an enormous amount of money for us, it has made our activities even more widely published and understood.
In the long term, it may not bring in extra members, but we're hoping it'll have this effect.
In the long term, it may not bring in extra members, but we are hoping it have the deep effect.
Is it possible to see dolphins in UK waters?
It is possible to see dolphin in UK waters.
Yes, in several locations. And we have a big project in the east part of Scotland.
Yes, it's several locations, and we have a big project in the east part of Scotland.
This has long been a haven for dolphins because it has very little shipping.
This has long been haven for dolphin because has very little shipping.
However, that may be about to change soon because oil companies want to increase exploration there.
However, there are many about the change soon because oil companies want to increase exploring there.
We're campaigning against this because although there'll be little pollution from oil, exploration creates a lot of underwater noise.
We are campaigning against that because although there will be little pollution from oil exploration causes a lot of underwater noise.
It means the dolphins can't rest and socialise.
It means the dolphins can't rest and socialize.
This is how I became interested in dolphin conservation in the first place.
It is how I became interested in dolphin conservation in the first place.
I'd never seen one, and I hadn't been particularly interested in them at school.
I'd never seen one, and I had been particularly interested in that school.
Then I came across this story about a family of dolphins who had to leave their home in the Moray Firth.
Then I came across the story about a family of dolphins who had to leave their home in the Moray Firth
because of the oil companies, and about a child who campaigned to save them.
Because of the oil companies and about the child who campaigned to save them.
I couldn't put the book down. I was hooked.
I couldn't put the book down. I was hooked.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, have some time to look at the question 16 to 20.
Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
I'm sure our listeners will want to find out what they can do to help.
I'm sure our listener will want to find out what they can have to do help.
You mentioned the Adopt a Dolphin scheme. Can you tell us about that?
You mentioned that Adopt a Dolphin scam. Can you tell us about that?
Of course. People can choose one of our dolphins to sponsor.
Of course. People can choose one of our dolphins to sponsor.
They receive a picture of it and news updates.
They receive a picture of it and news updates.
I'd like to tell you about 4 which are currently being adopted by our members.
I'd like to tell you about 4 which are currently being adopted by our member.
Moon Dancer, Echo, Kiwi and Samson.
Moon Dancer, Echo, Kiwi and Samson.
Unfortunately, Echo is being rather elusive this year and hasn't yet been sighted by our observers, but we remain optimistic that he'll be out there soon.
Unfortunately, it is being rather elusive this year and hasn't yet being cited by our officers, but we remain optimistic that he'll be out there soon.
All the others have been out in force. Samson and Moondancer are often photographed together.
All the others have been out in force. Salmon and Moon dance are often photographed together.
But it's Kiwi who's our real character, as she seems to love coming up close for the cameras, and we've captured her on film hundreds of times.
But it's Kiwi who's our real character, as it seems to love coming up close for the camera, and we've pictured her on film hundreds of times.
They all have their own personalities. Moondancer is very elegant and curves out and into the water very smoothly, whereas Samson has a lot of energy.
They all have their own personalities. Moondancer is very elegant, curves out and into the water very smoothly, whereas Samson has a lot of energy.
Always leaping out of the water with great vigour.
He's always leaping out of the water with a great vigor.
You'd probably expect him to be the youngest. He's not quite. That's Kiwi.
You probably expect him to be the youngest. He's not quite. That's Kiwi.
But Samson's the latest of our dolphins to be chosen for the scheme.
But Samson, the latest of our dolphins to be chosen for the Christmas.
Kiwi makes a lot of noise, so we can often pick her out straight away.
Kiwi makes a lot of noise, so we can often pick her out straight away.
Echo and Moondancer are noisy too, but Moondancer's easy to find because she has a particularly large fin on her back, which makes...
Actually, Moondance are noisy too, but Moondance is easy to find because she has a particularly large fin on her back.
Makes her easy to identify. So, yes, they're all very different.
What?
Which makes it easy to identify who, yes, they're all very different.
Well, they sound a fascinating group. And how would you go back?
Well, the sound are particular group, and how would you go back?
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
That is the end of section 2. You now have a half minute to check your answer. That's also my video, and I hope that it's beneficial for you. I'm so sorry for my mistake. I'll see you in the next video.